Buying an online business with no money down a reality? Or is this just fantasy land that people talk about? It can be done. Is it for everyone? Hell no. Why? Because anything that sells cheap is, well, typically, you guessed it, it's cheap. The businesses people are buying for no money down are typically depreciating assets, are people with business experience who have confidence in turning these businesses around and scaling them. Now, you may have seen other people on the internet talking about how easy it is to get no money down deals. The reality is, first, you need to find a depreciating asset, and then you need to convince the owner to sell it to you, but take all the risk, or at least most of the risk, typically. So how easy do you think two of those things are? Yeah, right? Not so simple. So why would I even bother sharing with you how to buy an online business with no money down? Because these are strategies that you can start to implement on 6-figure and 7-figure plus acquisitions. And you can take parts of these strategies to get real ideas on how to de-risk your deal structure when acquiring an online business. But before we get started, please do not buy a business alone. I've got some important things to share with you soon on who you need on your team when acquiring an online business and why. So number one, first up strategy for buying a business with no money down is seller financing. This is the most common, and for online businesses over the 6-figure range, you can sometimes have 67% of the deal seller finance. So how does this work? Well, the seller agrees to finance a portion of the entire purchase price, allowing you to pay them back over time from the key business's profits. Now, number one, you need to find motivated sellers who are open to flexible payments and terms like this. And number two, negotiate a seller financing deal where you pay in, installments over maybe a 6-12 month period, or depending on what you agree with the broker and the seller. Thirdly, you need to ensure the business generates enough cash flow to cover those repayment terms as well. Number two, earn-out agreements. Now, how do these ones work? Well, you agree to pay the seller a percentage of future profits or revenue over a specific period for the business. So the key steps here is, number one, you need to propose an earn-out agreement where the seller gets paid based on the business's performance and, for post-acquisition. Number two, you need to set clear, achievable performance targets and timelines for this. And thirdly, you need to ensure the agreement benefits both parties. Very important. This only happens in a win-win, and all these strategies should only happen in a win-win. You need to ensure both parties agree and have that done in a legal document. The third way you can buy a business with no money down, or most of a business with no money down, is partner with investors. So how does this work? Simple. Find investors that are willing to pay the necessary capital in exchange for equity or a share of profits in the business. And that could be monthly, quarterly, annually, or equity in shares. Now, how do we do this? Number one, create a compelling business plan for the acquisition to provide potential returns to the investors. And number two, pitch to those investors and showcase your skills and also, possible, some of the businesses or your portfolio, or some of the skills and experience that you have for achieving other results in other businesses. And that's very, very important. Now, also negotiate. Third thing you can do is negotiate terms that outline the investment return and equity stake for the investors. Number four is use a business loan or SBA loan. So how does this work? Well, you just go out and acquire a business with the loan, or have a loan backed by the SBA, which is the Small Business Administration in the US, to help you finance the purchase of the business. Now, the key steps here is, number one, what you need to do is you need to prepare a solid business plan, and same with other investors. When you're doing a loan, you need to have a business plan, present your experience as well on how you can grow this business and provide returns and financial projections. Number two, apply for this loan. Traditional banks, you can do this online. You can use lenders or SBA aggregates that help you. If you guys need some help working out who you can use to get SBA or finance, then reach out to me. Just contact me through my websites. Now, you can use the loan to fund the acquisition and repay it from the business's earnings. Pretty simple, right? And the last but not least, number five, is acquisition via sweat equity. So how this works is you offer your skills and services to the owner of the business to improve the business in exchange for you taking ownership stakes in it over a period of time. Now, you could earn your percentage in shares and equity over, monthly, quarterly, annually, depending on what sort of targets you hit with growing the business and earning your way into the business. So So the key steps here is to, number one, identify which businesses that you have some expertise and experience in that you can actually add value to and help the business grow. Secondly, what you need is to propose a deal where you earn equity into it by working your way into the business and growing and improving it, just like I said before. Very, very basic and simple. And obviously, before you get into this sort of agreement, you need to have some binding contract or agreement where you clearly define the terms and the milestones for earning equity into the business. And number 6 is deferred payment plans. Now, how this works is you negotiate a deal where the payment is deferred until the business starts generating enough revenue. Now, the key steps here is, number one, find sellers who are open to deferred payments, and then structure a payment plan where initial payments are delayed with installments starting after a certain revenue threshold is actually met. And thirdly, you need to ensure the plan is legally binding and protects both parties and interests. So the best way to decrease your investment is to pay less of your own cash up front, or if possible, none of your own cash up front. Now, the more creative you are with how to do this, the least risk you'll take on, which can be done by merging a few of these strategies together. For example, maybe you have an investor who gives you 50% of the deal in cash, and you use that for a down payment, and then you use the rest using an SBA loan. Or you could have multiple things going, or multiple of these strategies going, like a little bit of a cash deposit from an investor, a portion seller financing, and maybe a portion of seller note, and a portion in SBA financing or from a lender. Now, I know someone who's acquired millions of dollars worth of e-commerce businesses who paid just $1 for 4 companies and paid the rest of the business out by a combination of seller financing and earnout. So these, of course, can be done. Now, of course, he's a seasoned investor and an e-commerce expert, and if you're buying your first online business, then make sure you have someone who has acquired an online business to actually look at your due diligence, to also hold your hand through the process of negotiation and structuring a deal. Now, I do this for our Buying Online Business community members, but if you'd like a free resource that can help you get started, grab my due diligence framework. And this is what my clients actually use. It's helped us make millions of dollars and save us millions of dollars, and you can get that by getting it in the link in the description. Hey YouTube watcher, what's up? It's Jared Krause here. If you've watched this video up until now, please smash the like button. I'm glad that you liked the video. It really helps. Also, thank you so much for watching, and please consider subscribing. I hope to see you on the next one.